Good morning there, YouTubers. It's Dave again. We're going to do an update video here on the Fairmont Futura. I just picked it up yesterday from my dad's. I brought it up there and had him do the carburetor. So he pulled the carb off. It's just a little one barrel. He put a new kit in it, found a few things that were wrong with it inside the carburetor. New gaskets, everything. So now she starts right up and runs a lot better than it did before. There's no more of that loading up. Before it was like real cold starting. The choke wasn't wanting to open or close right. It was kind of sticky. You take it out on the road and it would fall flat on its face, and sometimes it would want to just die out. And there was actually fuel dumping out of the top of the carburetor, so it was loading itself up and running like really super rich. So he got that fixed. It's running really good now. You get in her, turn your key, set your choke with the gas pedal, turn it, she'll fire right up and just stay idle and nice and smooth. But anyways, you're probably asking yourself, why is it jacked up? Why is the rear end taken apart? Well, when I got it back from my dad's yesterday, he had mentioned to me that he had heard a little bit of grinding in one of the back wheels when he was driving it. And he said it was kind of loud, and he said it sounded like maybe brakes. So I took it out when I got it home, unloaded it off the trailer, took it for a ride, and oh my God, it was loud. And that noise wasn't there before, so it was kind of weird. But it was a grinding noise. So he told me it probably needed rear brakes. Well, wrong. It doesn't. Because according to all the receipts, it has new brakes, and they weren't lying. There's all new brakes. Everything looks new in there. Everything looks like it's been done. Shoot, they even put new studs on it and everything. So that's kind of nice. And there's the air shocks. They work really good. But the drum came right off. I didn't even have to pound it. Normally, when you take your outer drums off here, sometimes you really just got to give them a good whack with a hammer, and they'll, pretty much fall out. If not, then you have to get in behind, and you have to go in with the tool and crank your brake adjustments here. Your little key right here. It's hard to see, but you got to adjust that to make it loosen up these pads to spread them in or out. Shoes, sorry. But no, the rotor came right out, so that was the drum came right off, so that was a little surprising to me. Being that this is the side that was noisy. This is the passenger side. This is the one that when I had it jacked up in the air with the wheels still on and everything, and I would spin the wheel, the tire, this was the side that was really noisy. The other side wasn't that bad. But the other question I have is this side, when you turn it, well, see, now it's freed up, but before it was binding. So I sprayed everything down inside there. But anyways, so I was digging a little bit farther, but when I took that drum off, I noticed inside the drum there was a lot of grease. And you can tell the difference between brake fluid and rear end grease. Rear end grease is like really thick, and it's got that nasty, gross smell to it. It just reeks when it's old. It reeks when it's new, but when it's old, it smells worse. I don't know why. But so I found some grease that was leaking. So I noticed that the maybe you can't see in there. The rear seal there is leaking. You can see a little bit back in there where it's really greasy. I did clean this off with brake fluid, so it's, it doesn't look as dirty as it was when I first took the damn thing apart. But yeah, there was a lot of grease in there, so I am now taking apart the rear end. The driver's side drum looks really clean. There was no grease in there. But let's crawl our little butts under here. So, there's my drip pan. I took the rear cover off. So what I got to do is take that little bolt out right there. I don't know if you can see that little bolt. And then, sorry about my phone's crooked. Now I got to take that pinion pin out, pop that out, push the axles in, and there's a C-clip inside there. You can't really see with my phone, but there's a C-clip in there. I got to pull that out, and then you can pull both axles out. So both axles will come slide right out of the rear end, And then I can change those rear seals. I'm going to do both. Each side, might as well just take it both apart and do both of them. And then once we get that apart, sorry about the phone. Once we get that all apart, I'm going to look into those bearings because, let me see, there is a little bit of up and down play. You're going to have a little bit, you're going to have a little loose play here. You're going to hear that rattling, but that's your gears inside, which is normal. But one thing you want to really look at is see how much play you got up and down here. A little tiny bit, but it's not bad. Because behind, once you pull this out, you know, once you do all your stuff inside there and pull your pinion gears and your clips, this will all just come right out on both sides. And it's your big long axle shaft. Well, behind that seal that I showed you earlier, that I'm going to change that seal, behind that is a bearing. That's your wheel bearings. That's your outer axle wheel bearings. And those should check. They can be replaced. Sometimes you might run into, if your axle shaft, where it rides on your bearing, sometimes they might get wore out and maybe your bearing might be good, but you still might have a lot of play in here. This one actually doesn't. It actually feels good. If it was a lot of play, you'd really be able to just take this whole thing and just move it up and down, and that would be a bad thing. And you'd know when you're driving it because you'd feel it wobbling. But that one feels good. I'm going to check it once I get that axle out and get that rear seal out, and then I'll be able to see the bearings right there. They're just pressed in. I don't know how hard they are taking them out, but thank God I got an amazing father that's an awesome mechanic that has taught me so much in the years growing up. So what I don't know, I just give him a call and he walks me through it. Tells me, you know, he lives so far away, so I wish he lived really close. He could just come over and help me, but he can't because he's like 70, 80 miles away, but he just tells me on the phone. So otherwise, I do a lot of YouTube video search. You can really find a lot of information on YouTube. It's amazing the things you can find out. Well, also I have books too. I have a Haynes book and everything, but Haynes are crap. They don't tell you shit. But okay, there's the next part of the Fairmont. I'll be working on that today, so once I'm done with that, we will update you a little bit and show you how that's going to go. See if this fixes the problem. Alrighty, bye-bye.